Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Die Hard Racing. This past weekend, we had week 2 of the PRL Golden Ticket Mazda MX5 series. So I'm going to be showing you guys how we did for week 2 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I do want to apologize as I did miss week 1 at Laguna Seca as I was out of town a little bit longer than I expected. But luckily, we do get our 2 worst rounds dropped, so that first week isn't going to hurt us. But we were able to get 2 races under our belt for this week. So we're going to get started with race 1 here. We qualified P11.
20 minutes.
Not the best of qualifying, but it is what it is.
Okay, Justin.
These
Nice and
2
neat. Stay out of
races
trouble.
had some really good racers in
Green,
it.
green,
High
green.
rating average was really high, which we'll show you guys at the end of each race. But we get a decent jump up to start here. We're able to hold the number 11 on the inside.
On your right.
And even think about making a move there,
Clear
but
right.
don't want to get in a wreck on the first corner of the
Car
first
right.
race.
He's still there. Clear right.
So we're doing good. We're escaping the first couple corners clean. We're just going to try and stay with these front guys since I know they're a lot quicker than me, more experienced.
Starts okay. Car right. Still
Make
there.
a little slip up in that corners, but we're going to try to hold our
Still
position from the number 11 car.
Right side's clear.
We're able to hold it, but this corner going into the long turn here at Charlotte Motor Speedway has been giving me troubles. It's really hard to carry your momentum onto the straight. The Mazda doesn't really have a lot of traction. It kind of gets unsettled in that corner since it's not even pavement. But luckily we get a good drive, and we're going into these S corners here. Shift down in 3rd gear. We're going to try and hug the curb as much as we can. Stay close to the inside, hop on these red little tiles here, get another good run behind this guy and try to stay in the draft. Little tag on the wall right there, a little on the foul. Pretty decent first lap for us. We didn't lose any positions. We also didn't gain any positions, but that's pretty good compared to the size of the field that we have. But
He's still there.
Person behind us
Clear
is looking
left.
to make a move. Not going to battle them too hard since I can tell they're a little quicker in this section of the track. But what we want to do now is stick behind this guy, maybe learn a thing or two. He is an A-class driver, which means he is really good. That's 2 levels above our current C license, so he probably knows a thing or two and probably didn't have a very good qualifying time or did not get a qualifying time in general. As you can see, he's already kind of pulling away, so must be doing something right. As we tag the wall there, which unfortunately is going to give us some wheel damage, and you can see already that it's just slowing us in this corner. But we're going to take a look at the replay here, and just tags it. I'm not able to make too much of a turn to avoid the wall. I was carrying too much momentum. And what's different about Charlotte Motor Speedway is there's just a lot of walls that you have to contend with. You'll see in the rest of this race and even the next race, the walls will almost be the death of us. But it is more of a NASCAR circuit, which would explain all the walls and why they have them there for safety reasons. But we're going to skip forward a couple of laps.
There's an incident in turn 8. We think it might be brake. Yellow flag.
And we can see something happen here to the green car to the left of us. Saw the smoke or the white dust coming from the wall.
Brake.
So not sure what happened to him. So let's take a
Left
look
side.
and
Clear
look to
left.
see what gave this guy some trouble. Oh, and there's the wall. I know how it feels all too well. So like I said, it is very easy to catch the walls here. And the fast guys are really able to hug that wall as close as they can without hitting it to get the drive into this large turn here at Charlotte. So just carry a little bit too much momentum and he was just passing by. Thank you very much for that position, and back to the POV, where we were going to try to limp this car home and hopefully not lose any positions, maybe gain a couple positions, but we can already tell that we're losing about a second a lap with this wheel damage, which is a huge pain, but it's not the end of the world.
The leader has just done a 133.9.
So fast forward a couple laps here, we can see we have Brandon Fraser the second. You're going to need to remember that name. He's going to be in this video all day long, but he is catching up to us, which I don't blame him. He qualified, I believe, right behind us, so not sure what happened to him in the beginning of the race, but he was able to catch up to us and is going to stick with us for the rest of the race. So far we're doing a good job at holding them off, but we're losing so much time in the long straights with our wheel damage. We're able to still hold the speeds in all the corners, but he is gaining time on us as he tags the wall behind us in the rear view mirror there. And I don't know if you guys could hear that, but he is asking for us to let him by. He did mention earlier in the race that we were lagging a little bit, so I think here in the next couple corners I'll probably let him by, just to be nice since I know he's quicker. I've got some wheel damage. I don't know if he's got any sort of damage, but we're just going to be nice and pull off to the side here so he can get around us and maybe get a little bit of a draft from him.
Car left.
But just not going to fight him over it.
Still there.
And we're really not going to lose any points because of it.
Still there, clear left. Just 2 minutes
and
left.
fast
2
forward
minutes
to
to
the
go.
final lap
Mayers
here.
is now leading.
We're trying to get around this lapper here, right into Cody. So thankfully he's going to pull over here to the right and let us by. And let's finish out our race without any major incidents. You can see our incident count, we only have 3, and I believe that was most of us just running into the walls and going off track. So really clean race for us overall, besides the second lap of running into the wall. But we drove really clean and made some good decisions. So I believe in this race we're going to finish out in 9th place, even though right now it says we are in 10th. But the official results say that we get a 9th place finish, as you'll see right here. And on top of that, we also get a plus 30 iRating and a plus 0.2 safety rating. And I also want to point out that the average iRating of that race was about 1800, which is a lot higher than what we normally go and race against. So 9th place in that race isn't too bad. I'll take that with the skill level of drivers in that race. Alright, so here's race 2, about to get underway. Qualified P11 once again.
Green, green, green.
And once again, we get a decent jump off the line. Again, just going to hold it inside and make sure Brandon can't get around us. Like I said, you'd see him again in a race 2, Mr. Brandon Fraser II.
Right side. Clear right.
But I don't know if there's time that I'd see him this soon, as he gives us a little love tap. So let's see what happens here. We let this guy on the right go by us, and then he just comes in a little too hot as we're making the corner and bumps the rear end, and then like a good friend he is, straightens us out so we can continue our race.
Car right. Still there.
So that's going to put us back to
Hold your
P14, which
Clear
is not
right.
favorable for us, losing 3 positions on the first lap, but that is racing.
Car right. Clear right.
But we are going to get another position back here as we pass that white car up on the inside, which just so happens to be Cody from the previous race. And we can see these two battling up ahead. Looks like he's going to make a move on the inside. And looks like we're going to make a move on the inside too and make a little bit of contact. You know, just returning the favor to our friend Brandon Fraser II. So let's take a look at the replay and see what happened. And it looks like he was giving way to the person in the white car and just slowed down a little bit too much as I was coming in there pretty hot. So might have been a little bit of my fault, not anticipating him to slow down that much. But it is good for us, I guess, because we gain another position and get him back for the beginning of the race. So all love is war, and back to our POV, and this will be another lap completed for us. And technically we only lost 1 position from where we started, so
P12
could have been a lot worse if that crash would have gone a little bit differently for us, but we did get a little lucky with that. As you guys can see behind us, we're getting a little pressure from behind, so we're going to try and keep our momentum into this corner. And we just step on the gas a little bit too much. To be honest with you, I thought I was hitting that corner perfect. Got all the curves right, but just laid on the gas a little bit too much. So here's a look from behind. Hit the first curve, hit the second curve, and just give it a little bit too much of the beans, and that causes us to spin out and unfortunately put us in the back of the pack.
The leader's just done it, 134.4.
So huge bummer for us, is that was just a really silly mistake on our part, and now we're back in P17, so we have a lot of work to do to try and catch up or to try and beat our first race result, which is P9.
Turn 1. Yellow flag.
Coming through.
You're better than this. The
Well,
car's better
you can
than this.
see
Get it
our
together, man.
friend
16.
Brandon Fraser II is also having issues into the wall. Let's see what happens here. Looks like the green car on his left makes a run down on the inside for who knows what reason and decides to take Brandon Fraser with him into the wall. And unfortunately, Brandon Fraser will be dead last in the pack now, and that was none of his fault. So hate to see that from my fellow competitor and fellow friend, but you know, karma happens, and it just so happens to the best of us.
Okay, Justin, the next car is Redmond.
But we do gain another position back there, so up to P14. Fast forward a couple laps and we're back up to P12. So pretty nice from being back at P17 a couple laps ago to now P12. So I've gained a couple more positions and we're in the positive as far as our iRating goes. But that will be the end of our race, finishing in P12. So we did gain back 5 positions from our incident. But here are the results here for race 2. Not our best results, but luckily with this series, the first of the 4 races, they only take the best results, so we will end up taking a 9th place from the first race for the series. I do want to point out that the second race had an average iRating of 1900, so even harder than the first race. But what I also didn't realize is that in this series they split everyone into divisions, so you can see that we are in Division 6, which I looked and there is 10 or 11 divisions, so I assume that just is based on everyone's iRatings or everyone's licensing, but you can see that with all the divisions combined, we are in 254th place with 28 points, where the leaders have 80 points, which means that they have won both their races for each week. So that's going to be really hard to compete with. But in our 6th division, we are in 15th place. And of course, that's just because the previous weeks haven't been dropped. So we'll see if we can improve on this week's results for next week, which next week I believe we will be racing at Lime Rock. So that'll be very exciting, as I don't think I've raced Lime Rock with the Mazda Miata yet. So I'm going to be practicing the rest of this week to get ready for that. And I was also sick as a dog racing these 2 races, so it'll be nice not to have to worry about that next week for Lime Rock. But thank you guys for sticking around and watching the video. If you like the content, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for next week at Lime Rock. So thank you guys, take care.